Now, the genesis for this video has been the Gideon buff to his Q. Before, I thought I did a tremendous amount of damage, and, well, they buffed it. Since then, I've kind of been questioning what sort of philosophy there is behind ability-based heroes. What are these roles? What are they supposed to do? And what is the diversity in this aspect of the game? In this video, I'm going to provide for you my philosophy, my fundamental understanding of the nature of roles of heroes regarding ability-based heroes.
Mirrorless Action is a game and screen recorder that offers the lowest megabytes per frame, the lowest computer resource usage, and the highest FPS recording. Check the link in the video description to learn more.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a Paragon guide/announcement video. I am Sylphin. Now, while I don't really like doing TLDRs on these kind of really heavy videos, we're going to do it right off the bat. And please stick around for later, as obviously I'm going to talk more about it and provide you more reasoning. So what is the deal? Well, basically, diversity amongst all roles, even ability-based heroes, is desirable. Why is this desirable? Because more roles in a MOBA especially provides more diversity, which can provide more strategy in team comps and even just how you execute in game. And this provides more depth, more engagement, and more fulfillment into the game. More heroes, more strat, etc., etc. So what is it in a nutshell? Basically, I'm kind of thinking there should be / are 3 ability-based roles: ability, damage, carry, and a mage, and a caster. An ability damage carry is a high damage, sustained damage, medium ranged abilities, late game peaking, low mobility, fragile, damage-based ability hero. Kind of get what I'm saying there? A mage, and this terminology can be whatever, I just care about the idea behind it. A mage is a medium damage, burst focused, medium range ability, mid-game peaking, low to medium mobility, fragile, damage-based ability hero. And a caster is sort of a low to medium damage. They still do damage. These are all damage-based roles. Long range, early to mid-game peak, medium to low mobility, fragile, ability-based damage, and it can sort of be a support hero. Those 3 roles are different in what they do, how they are executed, and what kind of thing they provide in a team fight. These 3 delineations, I think, need to exist and should exist because, again, this provides more diversity, more strategy, more depth and engagement, and potentially more fulfillment in this game. So that is the TLDR. Please, guys, stay as I hopefully provide more context, more reasoning, more fundamental understanding, at least my understanding, guys, and knowledge of all of this material. So, guys, basically, most ability-based heroes are most basically described as heroes focused on their abilities and dealing damage from those abilities. They're ultimately damage dealers through their abilities. Fundamentally, they're the same as supports, but different in the purpose and function of their abilities. The purpose behind a ability-based hero that's not a support is to kill things, and the function of their abilities is to help do that, whether dealing damage or maybe some utility in there, or maybe they help more damage and is some kind of an interesting interplay. Basically, it just kills enemies, deals damage. That's what these heroes are about. Now, the execution behind these classes, how they scale from economy, and whether they are melee, range, that can all be different. That is all different, and that can be different. But some conventions do seem to exist when you look in the MOBA world / just what the possibility space of roles in a MOBA are. Now, ability damage carries. Ability damage carries are different, obviously, from attack damage carries, as ability damage carries are heroes that deal tremendous sustained damage. sustained damage, their carries, and their ability damage in the late game through their abilities are very fragile and are primarily scale from hero experience. Since damage comes from abilities which level up through hero experience, this is how they are primarily different from attack damage carries. Attack damage carries, yes, they do feed off of hero levels as their basic damage is increased and their attack speed is increased, but ability damage carries much more so, as upgrading ability means much more than just leveling up as a attack damage carry. They are very similar to attack damage carries, however, in that they trade off this very high damage through their range of influence. They don't have incredibly long abilities, right? And they operate within that range basic attack range, because they'd just be crazy if they could deal tremendous, ridiculous damage way out there. And this can be melee range. This can be up to about ranged basic attack range. Now, some of the reasoning behind why I emphasized sustained in the ability damage carry portion is because if it's not sustained, if it's burst damage, well, then you're getting very close to an assassin. It's kind of the difference between a carry and an assassin. Assassin, as much as the name is just naturally described as, they're very much burst focus, as they can quickly assassinate a target, whereas a carry is much different. They are sustained damage. So an ability damage carry is very sustained focus with ability damage. Now the next two classes, you can call them whatever you want. I really just care about the idea behind it. For some reason, a mage to me is like a really heavy focused damage sort of ability based, like you're a mage, whereas caster, the name is just kind of like meh, right? Meh, a caster, whereas a mage is so much cooler. I don't know. That's just kind of my own weird connection between between names and their meanings. So just follow me. Again, you can call these whatever you want, but my terminology is as follows. Mages are damage-focused, ability-based heroes that don't deal as much sustained damage as ability carries in the late game. Or else why would there be a difference? But can still deal more damage than a caster, and typically are at their peak in about the mid-game, as obviously ability as the carries scale into the late game, whereas mages shouldn't. The trade-off for this higher damage is their fragility, as all damage dealers just have to be naturally, their lack of utility, and their range of influence, up to around range basic attack range with heavy hitting, high cooldown abilities. Mages, they are, because ability damage carries are sustained damage, mages naturally can't have low cooldowns, or else that'll just be sustained damage, right? So these have to be high cooldown abilities that deal damage, because they have high cooldowns, and they can't be long range, or else why would you run a carry if you can just use mages and deal damage from afar? So they have to be that up to range basic attack, a little bit farther, perhaps a wee bit, just around there. And again, mages can be melee. They can very much be melee as well. They scale well from hero experience and from economy, but not as much as ability carries do. And that's how they kind of peak in the mid game, because in the late game, when we're talking about very high hero levels and very high economy, that's when ability carries take off. So that is my interpretation of what mages are. Again, terminology can be whatever you want. The last role here that we have to talk about are casters. Again, terminology can be whatever you want. The idea is what I'm trying to impress here. Casters sacrifice the damage of mages. They're still damage focused. All three of these classes, they're still damage focused. It's still damage focused roles, guys. Keep that in mind. They sacrifice the damage of mages for more utility and other effects. While they still deal good damage, the utility comes in the form of long-range poke, the ability to deal that damage from afar. Maybe they're short cooldowns, not too short as to kind of provide great sustained damage, but it's shorter cooldowns. That's incremental, long-range sort of damage. Their utility also comes from crowd control and or other support-focused abilities. Maybe there's a slow in there. Maybe there's extra mobility for an ally or nearby heroes from their range of influence, stuff like that. Their utility provides early game manipulation that's very important as as people are leveling up, unlocking abilities, or just getting cards. That keeps its value through the whole match. Like, utility is great. It's ultimately based on how you use that utility, while again mainly scaling from hero experience, as they are still ability-based heroes. So casters, really just kind of like long-range poke heroes that deal a little bit of damage, but long range with other abilities. Of course, they may have some utility, maybe sacrifice some of that utility for some mobility, stuff like that. But ultimately, that's kind of what a caster is. So, in summary, guys, really, I see the ability damage, ability damage based hero roles as three sort of things. I mean, there is the support that is ability focused, but they're not ability damage focused. The ability damage carry that provides sustained damage in the late game through their abilities. So lower cooldowns, they deal a lot of damage, they scale really well from hero experience and economy. That are quite fragile and typically don't have very much mobility because they deal so much damage. There has to be that trade-off. A mage is sort of like is usually sort of a bursty sort of medium damage, but medium high, if you know what I mean. Damage from medium ranged abilities, because it can't be long range, because that's what casters provide to your team. They're kind of a mid-game peaking, low to mid mobility, depending on the rest of their kit. Fragile, they're still damage dealers, and obviously they're ability based. A caster, it's kind of that long range poke, not dealing much damage with that long range ability. That's the key there. They're very useful in the early game to mid game because of the usually more utility that they provide. They're still fragile. Sometimes they might have a fair amount of mobility based on their hero, and they can be a pseudo supporty kind of hero. That's my thinking behind the three possibility space, the three possibilities in the possibility space. Wow, between ability-based heroes. I feel like there needs to be this diversity, as why wouldn't you? It provides, again, more strategy, more depth, more in-game potential, more draft potential. It's just an untapped thing in Paragon that I think the lines are being blurred. We have really high damage, long range heroes that also have fantastic mobility, that are pseudo kind of fragile, but the economy system provides them the opportunity to be quite tanky. So it's a really awkward space at the moment, and diversifying the space, having these more delineated roles, I think would really go a long way to provide Paragon with just some better potential.
Amazon is the tried and true way of shopping for anything you need or want at the lowest prices. Support the channel at no cost to you by doing your Amazon shopping through the link in the video description.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community. Of course, guys, subscribe, please. If you found this video useful or enjoyable in any fashion, please subscribe, because I have a lot of videos coming later. Please check the video description for links to my website, merchandise store, and Amazon affiliate link, and of course, all my social media as well. Till next time, like always, guys, stay optimistic and positive.